We've all felt it. The tragic missing dad moment that sets the underdog hero into motion. But in Tougen Aki, is Shiki's father just missing? Or is he the secret villain pulling all the strings? Here are 10 clues that Shiki's father isn't a victim. He might just be the mastermind. This is Honest 10. 10 facts, 0 fluff. Let's get into it.
親父いやいや違うまだ俺は謝ってねえぞ
Tsuyoshi and Shiki have a fast turnaround emotional moment, and then Tsuyoshi dies, and we never see his body on screen. Episode 2 reveals his body in the mortuary, but we never even see the process or what happens to it. That's not omission, that's narrative redaction. Why shield us from the body if he was just collateral? Because someone wanted plausible denial, not proof.
ここがどこかは言わない父親の遺体は別のところで保管してる
鬼と桃太郎もこうやって肩組んで生きられたらいいのにな
Tsuyoshi's warning, telling Shiki to stay hidden from the Oni Council, only makes sense if he was directly connected. Yet when Shiki's powers awaken, the council already knows who he is. So did Dad betray him or ally himself with those council members? Why would a Momotaro be connected to the Oni Council? Double agent, perhaps? Major Itachi energy here, don't you think? But let's not get ahead of ourselves.
強くなってくれよ桃太郎にも鬼の血にも負けないくらい
ここじゃ人目につくな簡単に背後を取られるなんてな減点
You ever notice how perfect the timing is when Shiki first loses control? How did Mudano just happen to be there right when Shiki and his father were together? And Shiki went berserk for the very first time? It's not just luck. Did Shiki's father and Mudano-sensei set up these trauma trigger moments right when Shiki was on the verge of awakening? Is that a coincidence? Or is there a hidden hand pulling the strings? Would a father really orchestrate the perfect storm to turn his own son into a weapon? The timing is just too clean, too perfect. It doesn't feel random, it feels designed. Like Shiki's breakdown was less of a fluke and more of a debut.
幸せにはなれたぜ
許せ俺はそんな話が聞きてえんじゃねえんだよ
お久しぶりです先輩お互い年を取りましたね元桃太郎機関所属桃川原剛親父
Now that we know Tsuyoshi was a Momotaro, the calm demeanor, the lore dumps, the strategic timing, it all makes perfect sense. This man wasn't just some dude or Shiki's loving dad, he was a trained soldier, a professional in the exact organization tasked with suppressing and eradicating Oni. That means that he had intel access, combat skills, clearance, and knowledge of how the system works and how to break it. So when he disappears right when Shiki awakens, you can't chalk that up to coincidence. This is an ex-operative with motive, knowledge, and timing that lines up too cleanly. It's not just sus, it's tactical, planned.
親父どこ行った何かしたらぶっ殺すぞ保管してると言ったろ損傷させるなら保管とは言わない
薄汚い鬼どもが未だこの世にある恐怖を民が知る必要はないそのためにもあの鬼の子が目覚める前に殺せ
During the Momotaro Council meeting, notice their tone when Shiki's case is brought up. They don't react with shock, urgency, or even fear. The fact that a child of a former Momotaro has awakened as an Oni, which by their own ideology is the ultimate threat. Instead, the council is calm, calculated. Like, imagine if you just found a traitor, lost him before getting answers, watched his Oni son go berserk and get away, found out that one of your agents went rogue, and also lost him before getting answers. Would you just be calm? If this was truly unexpected, then they would be demanding answers, calling for hunts, and sending out strike teams. But what we get is cold acceptance. Like this is something we've already accounted for. Like Tsuyoshi's death and Shiki's transformation were just another move in a chess game they already knew was a possibility.
人の世に紛れし鬼どもを見つけ出せ
全ての鬼を滅ぼすのだ。
俺は無駄のないと。お前と同じ鬼だ。
Let's talk about how ridiculously fast Mudano appears the moment Shiki awakens. Shiki's house explodes. He goes into full Oni berserk mode, and boom! Mudano's already there and knocks him out completely. No delay, no scouting, just a clean takedown. That is not normal. We know from the Oni Council convo that they can detect awakenings quickly, but this wasn't fast. This was pre-timed. Shiki hadn't even burned out yet when Mudano arrived, which means he wasn't reacting. He was already nearby, camped out, waiting, almost like someone told him exactly where and when this would happen. And who would know that? Who had a front row seat to Shiki's emotional decline and awakening risk? Tsuyoshi, which makes Mudano's instant response way too convenient to ignore. It's not just that Mudano was fast, it's that he was positioned. Like he and Tsuyoshi had already coordinated this awakening moment from behind the scenes.
残念だったな。お前を射程にする気は1ミリもない。お前には俺の生徒になってもらうからな。先輩！何してるか分かってるんですか？その手にあるのは今始末しないと必ず公開します！
Now you know, we have to address Samidare going rogue. In the flashback scene, we find out that Samidare, a high-ranking Momotaro agent, went rogue after learning that Tsuyoshi had vanished with Shiki. That alone should have triggered alarms in the council, not only because a Momotaro defected, but because he did it while chasing a former Momotaro who just disappeared with a potentially dangerous Oni child. And how did the council react? Not with panic, not even with mobilization. They were just annoyed, like Samidare leaving was an inconvenience, not a threat. He had to take it upon himself to go after Shiki. Let that sink in. A Momotaro defector tracks down an ex-agent and his secret Oni kid, finds them, and instead of acting, the council does nothing. No retrieval mission, no execution order. They knew and sat on it, which raises a huge question. Why would the council, who treats Oni like ticking time bombs, suddenly go hands-off when it comes to this Oni and his dad, a known insider? It only makes sense if the council already knew what the endgame was, and if they were willing to let Samidare go rogue rather than publicly act. It means something else. This whole situation was never supposed to be made public, and they wanted to watch it play out. Someone just wanted Shiki out of sight, and Samidare breaking rank might have messed with the plan that they had probably laid out for years.
サミダレめしくじったな。勝手に一人で動きよって。 情けない。
でもさ、なんか声ちょっとワクワクしてない？
耳衰えたんじゃないですか？
Let's talk timing. Tsuyoshi goes missing. Next thing you know, boom, Oni attacks ramp up. Remember that clip at the end of episode 1 where Mudano was talking to the principal? They were both a little too happy to have finally found a group of strong new Oni to add to their numbers. Mudano doesn't seem like the type to show emotions, and yet the principal made it a point to mention how happy he was. They almost immediately start making plays with the new group of students, throwing them into life or death trainings and disguising it as a class that would help them in the long run. It sounds like military training to me, and let's be real, the students showed that they were OP during class. But before they could even finish a full day, they get a mission. A mission? Seriously? The Oni couldn't be more excited to start making moves. I guess the new recruits showed enough ability, and it was time to move out. Coincidence? Not in anime. That is a signal. That's a power shift. It's like a new leader took charge and handed out the playbook, and guess who's missing and would know exactly how the agency operates? Yep, Daddy Dearest.
全部あの子たちのための言葉だ。年間多くの鬼が殺されてるけど、血縁に鬼がいるだけで殺される子も多い。
飲まれてねえぞ、この野郎！こいつ、血を制御して操ったのか。操れただけじゃなくて暴走も抑え込んだ。 どうやった？
Why is the agency going out of their way to take in Shiki once he awakened his Oni blood? Normally, this kind of awakening would be a kill-on-sight order. He went straight berserk with no signs of control. But here, they're asking a teacher to test him? Isn't it a priority to stay under the radar? They spent decades killing off the ones that couldn't control themselves. It's almost like they were trying to make up for something. Like Tsuyoshi did something so huge behind the scenes that they now feel responsible for this kid. That's not protocol, that's damage control.
首の皮一枚だが合格だ。審査の内容は言わないが、使えないと判断するには早いと思っただけだ。
From episode 1 to 4, you can already see a pattern forming. Shiki's rage makes him stronger, but also more unstable. And people around him, including the agency, are subtly nudging him into more battles. Who benefits from a half-controlled Oni weapon tearing up both sides? Not the agency, not the Oni rank and file, but someone who would want the world to burn down from the inside? Yeah, someone like Tsuyoshi, who could have groomed Shiki to be the ultimate chaos agent. That's not a stretch. That's villain origin 101.
食いしばれ!
You're telling me that this man disappeared with no trace, knew all the Oni bloodline secrets, and left this kid in just the right state to snap, and you don't think he's playing 4D chess? Nah man, Tsuyoshi didn't just disappear. He activated a plan, and we're only seeing the first moves. And that's 10. If you're still here, you know what to do. If you didn't realize how deep this rabbit hole goes, then hit like, subscribe, and brace for more Tougen Aki lore reveals. Until next time, stay suspicious.